Oklahomans clean up after flood. Arkansans break Sand Springs, Oklahoma. U storm-weary in the Tulsa suburb of Sand Springs, U among the first communities inundated when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers started releasing more water from a dam upriver to control more severe flooding elsewhere. U soggy couches and recliners and dumpsters full of carpet, drywall and insulation lined residential streets covered in silt deposited by floodwaters. Jamie Casto was helping clean up the house where her 65-year-old uncle has lived for 14 years. Though Casto, 35, said her uncle didn't have flood insurance because he was told he lived in a 500-year floodplain, a rust-colored line 4 feet from the concrete floor of the garage clearly marked how high water had gotten before they were able to get into the house Friday. Casto is trying to help her uncle fill out paperwork to apply for emergency loans to help get the house back in order. She gave Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke a tour of the home while he was in historically red Oklahoma to see damage firsthand. The former Texas cleanup won't be fast or easy. The Tulsa area, the National Weather Service said that in Tulsa, the river was at just over 13 feet 4 meters Sunday morning, 10 feet 3 meters lower than its high point on Wednesday. On Saturday, President Donald Trump declared a major disaster in Oklahoma and made federal funding available to Muskogee, Tulsa, and Wagoner counties, which have been hit by flooding, tornadoes and other storms. Across the state, as the high waters travel southeast, officials in Dardanelle, Arkansas, where a levee breached, said the risk of widespread flooding has abated, though communities further downstream aren't out of danger yet. Dardanelle Mayor Jimmy Witt said in a Facebook post Saturday night that he thought the city of about 4,700 people will. Witt had previously warned the city could be inundated after the river on Friday made a 40-foot 12-meter hole in a levee in Dardanelle, which is roughly 100 miles 160 kilometers upstream from Little Rock. Officials said Saturday that they were constructing a temporary levee, calling it a last. By Sunday morning, Dardanelle appeared to be safe. Yell County National Weather Service meteorologist Dennis Kavanaugh said possible rain in Oklahoma would likely prolong flooding along the Arkansas River, though it probably wouldn't raise water levels higher than where they crested. Most areas will. Arkansas is expected to get more rain later in the week, which would increase the likelihood of flash flooding. Normally, downriver communities were preparing Sunday for record-breaking crests. Officials ordered in North Little Rock, which sits across the river from the capital city. Officials went door-to-door Saturday to urge residents in about 150 homes near the river to consider leaving. Grabenstein reported from Little Rock, Arkansas. Follow Adam Kialoha-Kazi at https://twitter.com/@Kazi and Hannah Grabenstein at https://twitter.com/Grabenstein. Search for location/city.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,